Manoj.
Hey, Catherine.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine. Hey, can you see the presentation?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
bring
Yes, I
that
can.
on the main screen?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Catherine, have you started the recording? I think you have. Okay.
I have, yes. Let me make sure it's recording. It's
Okay.
streaming.
Sounds good. And his Bob, so the last name I'm tripping over. Is it Nath?
I have not heard from him yet, but
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Is that how you say the last name? Knauf?
That would be my guess. Knopf, maybe?
Nauf. Okay, Nauf. Bob Nauf. Okay.
He didn't forward me his slides, so
Okay. Maybe he just wants to share.
yeah. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Bob, am I saying your name correctly? Nath?
Knopf.
Nauf. Okay. Thank you.
You betcha.
Hey, Manoj, you forwarded the email to the inside salespeople, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you forward it to contest as well? We
Sorry.
haven't had any signups from that group, but except for Jeremy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want me to?
Sure. Go ahead and forward the "We're live in an hour" email so that they know the login.
Okay.
And I'll forward you guys the channel presentation, the channel training presentation after we're done today.
Okay.
The presentation I'm giving is slightly watered down because it's meant for everyone, but for end users and sellers alike. But I have one that's specifically targeted to sellers, like questions to ask and those types of things about some of the new products that you can forward on to your sellers if you like.
And we're recording this presentation, so anyone who misses seeing it live can watch the replay.
All right.
We'll give everyone like a minute or two to join. Is that okay, Bob?
Yep.
Thanks.
Manosha, you want to go ahead and kick it off?
Sounds good. Well, a very special thank you to our customers, Poly reps, and the VSGi team that has joined the webinar today. My name is Manosha, and I'm a part of the sales team here at Visual Systems Group. Today's webinar is a Poly recap of Poly hardware and software presented at Infocomm just last week. Our presenter today is Bob Knopf, the product marketing manager at Poly, who leads the product marketing team for all video solutions at Poly. With that being said, a few housekeeping notes, just one rule actually. If you have a question, please note that you have a question on the left-hand side of the presentation. And at the end of the presentation, we will unmute you individually to ask your questions, I would say the last 15 minutes of the presentation. And without any further ado, Bob Knopf. Bob.
All righty. I am going to just get my application going here, and we'll be ready to roll.
So Bob, we're ready whenever you want to share your presentation.
All right. I've got everything showing up other than my one presentation that I want to show. So let me close some of my other stuff and see if it shows up here. Boop. Okay. Nope. All right, let's try again. Awesome. Does not show up. Perfect. All right, well, I'm just going to share my entire screen, and hopefully no one texts me or IMs me and embarrasses me throughout the presentation. So let's get going here. All right, so let me just ask, does everyone, do you see my presentation right now?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks everybody. My name is Bob Knopf. I'm a product marketing manager here at Poly. I actually concentrate more on the group video endpoint products than anything else. I've been at Poly for about 24 years, so I do know a little bit about everything and a lot about one thing. So we're going to do just a quick recap of Infocomm, but I really want to introduce you to one of the products I've been working on for the past couple of years, the G7500, which I think you'll really be excited about, and your end users will be very excited about as well. So Infocomm 2019 for Poly last week went over very, very well. We had a booth full of amazing solutions from both the legacy Polycom side and the legacy Plantronics side. We showed off our room systems for small, medium, large size for both just standard space SIP 323, as well as some of our more integrated systems to say for Zoom rooms with our Polycom, our Poly Trio product, as well as Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business products, which was always that's always a hit because customers tend to really want to know what can they do in some of those environments. So I'll share some of that information for you. As well as we also showed off our new Poly Studio product that we introduced back in February. But for many people, it's brand new to them. So we're introduced to it for the first time, even as of last week. Overall, Infocomm 2019, in my opinion, the traffic was much, much less. If you've gone in years past, maybe you went this year, maybe you had the same sentiment I did, but the perfect gauge to see how busy Infocomm is, not only the number of leads you get from your booth, but how busy or how slow the food lines are between the hours of 11:30 and 2:30 in the afternoon. And I can tell you, years past, I've waited an hour to get food. This year, I only waited no more than 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes in any one of the food lines. And that's an indication of Infocomm. But highlights from the Poly booth. So we showed one of our busiest stations was our Trio station. Trio, as many of you know, is our conference phone that is a USB capable device that can connect cameras and can connect to other devices to allow for video to monitor, sharing content, displaying content wirelessly to the device. We can integrate in with Microsoft Skype and Microsoft Teams, as well as create a dedicated Zoom room bundle with the Polycom Trio. It's something that's actually going to be talked about a lot more next month in another VSGi webinar when we talk about huddle rooms and huddle spaces. But another product that will also be talked about in much more detail is the Poly Studio product. That's our product in this page, is that one right there in the middle. The Poly Studio is a USB pass-through device which allows you to bring in your own personal laptop running whatever video codec that you might have. It could be consumer Skype, Zoom, Blue Jeans, standard space video conferencing with like Real Presence Desktop, literally anything. And you can plug your laptop, PC or Mac directly into the Poly Studio and use the Studio for its awesome audio and video quality. Studio has automatic camera tracking, group framing, as well as speaker tracking, has 6 microphones built into the system for enhanced stereo audio. Very powerful audio system. If you've seen some of the competitive systems out there that they're about half the size, but when you go half that size, you really give up quite a bit of audio quality, especially local audio quality. And the Poly Studio just blasts them out of the room, literally and figuratively, from a quality standpoint. And if you haven't seen this, or if your users haven't experienced this, maybe you are using a competitive product that, again, this is just USB pass-through. The price is well under sub $1,000 for the Poly Studio. It's great for huddle spaces, up to like a small, even a medium-sized conference room. Again, your camera is going to be your limitation here. From an audio pickup perspective, you've got about 15 feet away from the microphone. You're still sounding very good. The camera does have a 5x zoom capable digital zoom. But again, because it is digital zoom, the more you zoom in, the less quality you get. So it's not meant for those really large rooms. But for huddle spaces, it's a great solution. We also showed off our soundscaping technology. Because Infocomm has traditionally been an integrator show, soundscaping was a perfect arena to show that off at. And soundscaping, again, if you're not familiar with it, it is an enhanced white noise machine. And I do it a lot of injustice by just saying it's a white noise machine. It's an extremely smart noise generator that can take in not only visuals, but also not only sounds, but also visuals from screens of nature or ocean scenes to actually physical devices like a waterfall in the environment to make it just more relaxing for everyone, as well as block out that unwanted noise. And if you're not familiar with how white noise works, and if you're working in office environments where there's a ton of noise, maybe in one spot, a little less noise over here, the soundscaping can really enhance that entire environment. it truly is a remarkable device in how white noise works and can, I don't want to say play tricks on your mind, but lets your mind focus on work versus all the noise that might be surrounding you. And finally, the belle of the ball, and I'm not just saying this because it's my product, but the belle of the ball truly was the G7500. And we're going to go into detail about that over the next few minutes. So as we talk about video collaboration, a lot of people have issues with room video systems or traditional standards-based video systems. And if they're trying to collaborate in a conference room, it does become increasingly more difficult as more technology becomes available. Many organizations decide, you know what, we're going to put in 3 or 4 devices in a conference room to make it perfect for those end users to work. They want to share content wirelessly from their laptops and from their iPads and their Android devices. Well, what the problem there is, it frustrates users. The more technology you throw at a problem, the more information they have to learn. And as we all know, we can't be experts on everything. And in traditional environments, end users get very little training on conference room technology as it is, let alone multiple pieces of technology in the conference room. Then you think about your audio and video quality, both from a collaboration standpoint and then from a people video to audio quality in that conference room. Could it be better? I mean, are you blocking out that noise that tends to be bleeding in from that open workspace environment that's happening right on the other side of the wall or other side of the window? Is the video quality really that good? Is there true human collaboration or connection, I should say? In the true human connection is much more than just texting someone. It's seeing someone face to face. And when you're sharing content, are people experiencing that content the way that you designed it to be? Are you seeing it in full, true, rich color? If it's motion content, are you seeing it the way that it would be seen if I was sitting there locally? And then from that audio perspective, we've all been in meetings before on the far end where someone's sitting at their keyboard typing, maybe someone at the table's eating some potato chips, maybe there's noise coming in from outside the conference room, and the people inside the conference room have no idea that noise is being pushed to the far side. And everyone's too nice on the conference call to say, hey, could you mute your side? It's all that noise is bleeding through. Believe me, I'm not that nice anymore on meetings. That's the first thing I say if I hear some noise coming in there. But again, that's an issue that people experience today. And from an IT perspective and the admin perspective, systems are just simply difficult to deploy. One, if you've got multiple systems to deploy, you've got to figure out how to connect all the HDMI cables without getting switchers and routers. Or maybe you do have switchers and routers. Can I just plug that one device, that one connection from a Crestron or AMX controller right into my system and drive the entire experience through one device versus trying to connect 4 or 5 devices? Do I have to use proprietary cables? And then do I have to train all these people? How am I going to train all these people on all these different devices? So those are the issues that we're facing today. And believe me, traditionally, Polycom has not been immune to some of these things. We've had proprietary cables. We've made training difficult. We've had multiple devices in the conference room. But our new video, our video room vision is this. We want to put content at the center of experience. Content is the most important part of the meeting. Look at me today. I tried to present content and it wasn't showing up in the menu. I'm not ripping on the web portal, but it just wasn't working the way it was supposed to work. Probably user error, but still, it should have been there. It should be intuitive at first sight. Everything, I walk into the conference room, I click on something, I should know immediately how to bring up my content, how to make a video call, how to make annotations on the screen if I need to annotate. I also want to be platform agnostic. What I mean by that is if you're using Zoom or BlueJeans, if you're using standards-based, I just want my system to work. I know I need to make a call to someone. I know I need to collaborate. I need to collaborate with the group in the conference room. I just want it to work. I don't need to jump through 25 different hoops to make it work. And about all that said, I want to make it standards. I want to be as easy as standards-based simplicity. For years, we've been making SIP and H323 calls simply by typing in an IP address, typing in a URI, and it's just that easy. You just type in basically Bob at Poly, Beanoff at poly.com into your video window, and it dials me directly from any device. I mean, it should be that easy. And we should have a platform for the future. So whatever device we're coming out with now is going to be the platform that Poly develops on for this generation and the next. So I'm happy to introduce the Poly G7500. This is truly where content and video come together with wireless presentation system and amazing video conferencing with up to 4K video quality and content quality built into one solution. No longer do I have to have multiple devices to do these basic pieces of functionality. And also I want to give you a deployment-friendly architecture. I want to make it easy to deploy with standards-based cables, no more proprietary cables that I have to make custom. I want to make sure it's just drop dead simple for people to deploy and to learn and understand. So let's start with content at the center of the experience. So sharing wirelessly from any device. So with the G7500, I can share from my iPad, my Android device, my Mac, my PC, all wirelessly. Of course, I can plug in. I've got an HDMI input on the back of the G7500, but I can share wirelessly to the G7500 securely for both internal users and guest users or guest devices. The G7500 runs 2 separate networks on its platform. If you're familiar with the Polycom Pano, imagine this. We've taken Polycom Pano and a new video codec and included them all together. From a touchscreen capability, the G7500 was built from day one to be touchscreen ready. So even though you don't need a touchscreen, when you do install the touchscreen with the G7500, a whole new world opens up to you. You have the ability then to do infinite whiteboarding, annotating over content, annotating over live video, saving content off from your whiteboarding sessions. It is just an enhanced overall collaboration session. I can also share content to dual monitors. So if I'm only collaborating, doing local collaboration, not even in a video call, I can have in a dual monitor system, I can independently share a piece of content on 2 screens at one time, and independently whiteboard on each screen independently. So it's almost like having 2 panos in one device, which is really nice for longer meetings where you may want to keep an agenda up the entire time and keep a working space going the entire time. And of course, we have 4K, Ultimate HD 4K video resolution. So now every detail is seen. And I know you might be thinking, well, 4K people's not that important, but you know what? Maybe 4K content is, and it truly is. It's remarkable the difference. I mean, imagine between 720p, which just a couple of years ago, we were all just raving about, like, oh my gosh, there's nothing better than 720p. Now, a few years later, we have 4 times that video resolution. And I've done so many tests to compare between 720, of course, DVD quality, 720p, 1080p, and then 4K. The quality difference is remarkable. Throughout our beta testing over the last few months, we've had customers in advertising, gaming, and the amount of information that they're getting on their screens now has really changed their entire workflow. And it's incredible some of the applications it's opened up. One of the stories that you'll see posted, hopefully by the end of this week on poly.com, is one of our beta customers is a medical education network where they were using the G7500 to do remote medical education on microscopic ear surgery. This is all happening, again, with tools that are the size of, smaller than a pen tip. And to train other doctors on how to use those tools and how to get in the inner ear, it's been difficult for many years. They've tried many different ways. And again, doing it over video conferencing is great, but now they can actually see all the fine details and tissue layers that's extremely important in that surgery. So again, you're going to see many new applications open up for your users with the 4K content. Of course, content, as I mentioned, extremely important. People video, at first, I didn't think having 4K people video was going to be a big deal. It hasn't been all that long since we've actually been able to do 4K people video on the G7500 during beta. Because in the first release, we're only supporting 4K content, with an add-on release coming in August, version 2.1, where we introduce our new 4K camera. So we've just been starting beta testing with the 4K camera just a few weeks back. But now that I've experienced seeing people in 4K, I swear to God, I never want to go back. It just opens up so much more. I feel like I have such a better connection with people when I see them in 4K. And I don't get any better looking in 4K personally. I probably go down to SIF quality and start looking a little bit better. But 4K is absolutely incredible. It does make you feel like you have a better connection. And from an audio perspective, I mean, we've all hopefully know about the incredible traditional Polycom audio with acoustic fence, acoustic beam, noise block, the music and medical mode that we use for specialty applications. All of that technology has been ported over to the G7500. We also have new audio technology that's going to be introduced over the next few months that will suppress noise, that will suppress background noise automatically without the users having to do anything. So your voice is just heard crystal clear. So yes, you're going to still experience all those great things like acoustic fence and keyboard noise reductions. Those people typing, those people are going to be blocked out. It's so just experience yourself, be ready for an experience of a lifetime when you start using the G7500. And for employees in IT, this is the most important part. Employees are going to have a much more easy time adapting to the G7500. One, subjectively, the user interface is easy to use. If you're using a touchscreen, the remote control, our Android touch controller, it's going to be a much simpler experience and much more intuitive. From a touchscreen perspective, as I mentioned, it was designed from day one to work with a touchscreen. So our UX designers, every single day, we're working with how does my hand flow on the screen when I want to change the camera source, or I want to start annotating, I want to make a video call, I want to start saving content. How do all these things work together? Users are going to find it to be one device for both content sharing and video collaboration. It's going to make it easier for them to learn. They'll start using it right away. From an IT perspective, one, they're going to find proprietary cables, such as our C-Link cable that was used for microphones. Those are gone. We are no longer using the microphone cable. We still have a proprietary camera cable to be backwards compatible. But moving forward, we have new cameras that use things just straight up HDMI or straight up USB. But again, we want it to be backwards compatible so you don't have to completely rip and replace everything. For example, if you've already deployed ceiling like really our expensive ceiling microphones, and maybe you have an intricate system of tabletop microphones, we don't want you to have to replace all those. We've created an adapter that will allow you to use our older technology with our newer technology. And it's as simple as that. So let's talk a little bit more in depth about the technology itself. I'm going to start over on the right side where looks like all those LAN ports are. You'll notice there are 4 LAN ports right there. So does that mean we have a network switch in there? What does that actually mean? Well, for starters, our microphones are now IP based. We no longer are using C-Link. As I mentioned, I'm going to just grab the microphone off my table. As you can see, I just have a standard LAN cable plugged into my port on my microphone, which means these microphones are now IP based. In our first release, I need to plug my microphones directly into the back of the G7500. In a future release, though, we're going to just be able to plug we'll be able to plug those microphones just into a network port, into a switch that's sitting at the table, just to make it easier for people to do longer cable runs, so they don't have to do those longer cable runs, I should say. So again, first release, you're doing a home run back to the G7500. We support officially 3 microphones in the first release plugged directly into the unit. Many people already asked me, Bob, can I plug a network switch into the G7500 and run more microphones? My answer to you is you could. It's not officially supported, but it may work. And I can't tell you if it will or will not. That's just something you'll have to try on your own. Next to that, of course, we have our 1 gigabit LAN port on the system. We do support dual monitor output up to 4K video resolution. We support up to 4K video resolution on a single monitor and 1080p on a dual monitor in the first release. So again, just keep that in mind. If your customer absolutely wants, or your users absolutely want that 4K video resolution, a large single 75, 85-inch screen 4K resolution is maybe what they want to go with. But if they want the dual monitor experience, you'll be limited to 1080p in the first release. Again, that's going to be something that will be enhanced in the future, but right now it's 1080p on dual, 4K on single. By the way, there are no option keys. So historically with Polycom products, we've had option keys to get you, like, say, dual monitors or the enhanced resolutions, those types of things. In the first release, we have no option keys at all. So you get 4K video resolution standard, you get the dual monitor output standard. The HDMI input next to that is 4K capable. That can be used for a content source, be it PC, cameras, whatever you'd like to have, that is up to 4K video resolution running into input number 2 there. Everyone should, by this time, be very familiar with the main input, camera input right there. It's our HDCI port. That will support our Eagle-Eye 4 cameras, both the 4X and 12X zooms, as well as Eagle-Eye Producer and Eagle-Eye Director. So you can use any one of those cameras. Keeping moving to the left, we have a USB-C port. This is an exciting port. This port is going to be able to be used for PC pass-through. It is not active in the first release of software, but in a very quick and up-and-coming software release, that will be turned on. You'll be able to use that for PC pass-through. So if you can, as I was talking about the Poly Studio earlier, the way you can bring in a laptop with whatever, anything from Skype for Business, Teams, Zoom, whatever you might have, you'll be able to plug in your laptop and just use it as PC pass-through to use all the accoutrement, the good microphones, the monitors, speakers that's plugged into the G7500 for your software video codec. The USB ports can be used for USB software upgrades, can be used for diagnostic tools, as well as plugging in our USB Eagle-Eye Cube camera. The Cube camera will be available as a bundle with the G7500 in August. That's when we'll actually support our USB Cube 4K resolution camera on the G7500, but it is a USB-based cam. Theoretically, you'll also be able to plug in other types of webcams at that time as well. Though not officially supported, more than likely they're going to work for you, as long as they have the HID support and the camera and it's not an ancient webcam. We do fully support AMX and Crestron with our serial port. There's a Crestron module specifically for the G7500. We support both our historical command line interface as well as new RESTful commands. So again, theoretically, you could, if you have a group series or even an HDX, for example, running on a Crestron panel inside that conference room, you could literally take that unit, the older unit out, replace it with a G7500, have the Crestron system connect to the G7500, and things, about 90% of the features and functionality will work. We, of course, do have some new features and functionality on the G7500 that you'd want to program for. Also, the final pieces there, Kensington lock, as well as a aux audio in and out. The system right now is shelf mountable. It has screw holes on the bottom that you could shelf mount it. We are looking at getting some rabbit ears so we are able to rack mount it. Right this second, we don't have those available, but that's something that hopefully won't take us too long to get out. From a UI perspective, our UX team has really done an amazing job. The more I use the G7500, just the more I fall in love with it. And I'm not going to lie to you. When you first start using the G7500, it is a different experience than the Group Series or the HDX or keep going VSX, ViewStation, all the way back, I guess. It's a different experience. It's a much better experience, enhanced greatly. But it'll take you about 10 minutes to adapt, and then you'll start liking it very quickly. From a home screen perspective, everything's customizable. I shouldn't say everything. Many things are 85 to 90% of the things on the home screen are customizable. Of course, their name, you can display the different widgets, be it IP address, secondary IP address. If you do have a guest network, you can put favorites on the screen. You can integrate into a calendaring system. So if you're integrated with Outlook or something else, that's absolutely possible. If you're connected to a touchscreen, you automatically get the icon for Blackboard. No touchscreen, that Blackboard icon's not there. Of course, the home screen background, completely customizable for what you like to have. Instructions on the screen, your logos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The dialing screen is much enhanced. Historically, we have not always shown all the information. So if you're integrated into a calendar, we haven't shown all the information on that screen about who's accepted, the entire meeting agenda. We didn't have the ability to scroll down. We do now have all the information for a meeting invitation, including who's accepted, who's rejected, on the calendar screen. We've integrated things, let's say, by like pictures for grabbing from the various calendar sources. We have the infinite whiteboard like we've had on the Polycom panel product. People love the infinite whiteboard. It gives you the ability to pinch, zoom, move content around the screen, which keeps the meeting flowing without having to stop, take a snapshot, etc. The gallery view is a new look for us. The gallery view gives users the ability to have their whiteboarding space up, as well as have the people video always constant on screen. And they can see their live and stored sources of content down at the bottom. Keep in mind that historically, in a content session, if I'm sending content to you via my video conference, and I can't, and I forget to take the thank you slide down at the very end, that means you're stuck seeing my thank you slide, and you don't see the people video full screen. Well, just a little something we added in. Individual sites now have the ability to take down content that's being shared by the far side. And I'd like to think it's specifically because of that reason, but I don't think it really was. But again, it's just a little thing that people will like to see. Of course, I can blow that content up to full size, the full screen if I wanted to, or if I'm on a dual screen system, I can have content on one screen and the people video on the other. I also have the ability to have to mix my content up on and have different a pip on one screen with maybe a smaller pip on the other screen kind of thing. So a lot of new changes. I mentioned the Eagle Eye Cube. We have the Eagle Eye Cube camera. We announced the Eagle Eye Cube cam back in March. We came out with an HDCI version that actually works with Polycom Trio and our group series. But the new USB version works specifically with the Trio Visual Plus as well as the G7500. This is a 4K kick butt camera. It has a 5x digital zoom, 120-degree field of view. So extremely wide field of view that you can put this camera into, and it will see the entire room. So feel free to put in a huddle space or a really kind of rectangular shaped room, and you're kind of facing the wrong way in the room. It has built-in stereo microphones that are used for speaker tracking only when used with the G7500 and also the Polycom Trio. So the tabletop mic is still needed when you're using the G7500. Now, if you plug the USB camera into a PC or laptop, absolutely, those microphones are used for audio pickup. We also do participant counting. So now I know how many people are sitting in that conference room during a meeting. That's great for like resource allocation. From an administrative standpoint, I may see a room that typically can hold 20 people only being used for a conference of 2 people week after week. And I can ask those people to move to a different room, or it might be a room meant for 5 people and there's 20 people in there. And I can try to move those people around. Again, this is something that we only had on Eagle Eye Producer before, and as well as Eagle Eye Director 2 at a more significant cost. So now with the Cube, I have that capability when I'm using it with the Real Presence Resource Manager. All that information is dumped out into that system. Now this camera is USB, as I mentioned, and I mentioned already that the microphones, microphones are IP based. The Eagle-Eye Cube is also IP based. In our first release, it is USB directly to the codec, similar to those microphones. It's LAN directly to the codec. But in a future release, you're going to be able to run these cameras, Eagle-Eye Cube cameras, over the network. So you'll be able to pair individual cameras over the network, allowing you to put multiple cubes into a conference room. For example, let's say you do have a very large conference room, maybe unusually shaped, who knows what it might be. In the future, you're going to be able to take multiple Eagle-Eye Cube cameras, just run the camera to a PoE port on the network. You'll be able to pair it with the G7500, and using the active video switching, the camera paired with the G7500, smart enough to know which camera is closest to the nearest speaker and which camera has the best view of that active speaker, and it'll automatically switch to that participant. That's not in the first release, and it's not going to be in the second release, but it is something that is going to be in the future. As I stated early on, this is a new platform for Poly, brand new. It's Android-based. There's tons of great things that are going to happen on this platform. Being Android-based gives us many, many features and functionality enhancements we can do, running different things natively on the product, for example. Imagine all the different Android apps that are out there in the world. Imagine being able to run some of those apps on your video conferencing solution or your content collaboration solution. Would that be a help? Probably. So just keep that in mind as we continue to talk about the G7500 as you start thinking about the G7500 post this meeting. All right, from a touch control application, or touch controls perspective, I should say, many of you may be familiar with the RP Touch that we've used with the Group series, or the touch controller that we had for the HDX. In our very first release of the product, we do not have our own touch controller. That is absolutely positively coming. It's coming at the end of 2019, as a matter of fact. But in August, we're going to be releasing free of charge as a beta feature the Poly controller. It's just the APK file you're going to download straight off of poly.com, and it's something you can load up onto your own Android device, be it an Amazon Fire, a Samsung Note, Samsung Galaxy S9, S10 phone, whatever your Android device is, you'll be able to load this APK file up onto it and control the entire conference, camera controls, content control, all right from your own personal device. Again, this is going to be available starting in August, and it'll be available on the Poly website for you to download. We showed this off last week at Infocomm, and people were just going crazy over the coolness factor. Again, this may not be for every end user. It may just be for administrators. Maybe it will be for end users if you do put a device in the conference room for them to use. All right, now the fun stuff. How do I purchase this? So we are shipping the product now. We announced it last week, and we began shipping it last week with real units going out the door, believe it or not. So we offer the package in 3 basic packages with cameras and 1 with just the codec only. So we start with the Eagle-Eye Cube bundle. Eagle-Eye Cube bundle, even though it's available to purchase right now or to order, it's not going to ship until August when we come out with the 2.1 software release. So keep that in mind. But all the bundles ship with the remote control, the whole cabling kit, the camera in the bundle, as well as the IP microphone. If you buy the codec only, it will ship with the power supply as well as the remote control. It does not ship with anything else but those things. For the Eagle-Eye 4 packages, we have the 4X and 12X cameras. Those 2 bundles are shipping today, as well as the codec only bundle is shipping today. You see the prices there on screen. As I mentioned, there are no there are no license keys to purchase on top of the product. You can just go ahead and order the codec. It's these bundles, and you'll get everything you need to get up and running. There may be software keys in the future as we add additional functionality to the product, but for now, this is what we got. We also have some accessories available. We have a new ceiling microphone. Looks almost identical to the old ceiling microphone, but this one is IP based. We have that IP microphone adapter, as I mentioned. The microphone IP adapter will convert the C-Link tune technology that was used with Group Series, convert that to IP technology. And again, it's C-Link 2. So if you're using HDX codecs out there with ceiling microphones, the oldest ceiling microphones that we have, those would not be compatible. So the ceiling mics I'm talking about would be the dish ones with those microphones would not be compatible with, in any way, shape, or form, with the G7500. All the C-Link 2 would be compatible. Of course, you can get additional microphones and remote controls. The remote controls are slightly different for us. They are Bluetooth paired. They are no longer doing codes for the, they are no longer doing the codes in 03, 04, 05. We have Bluetooth paired remotes. I highly recommend, once you get them, to number your codec and number the remote control so you know which system is paired with what device. It's very easy to pair a remote control with a codec, but it just requires you to hit the Bluetooth button that's on the codec itself, or go into the web interface of the G7500 and pair it that way. But it just takes a few seconds, I should say. Something else that we showed off last week at Infocomm, but did not actually, we're not actually starting to sell it yet, but we'll be shipping it later in Q3, calendar year Q3. It's an all-in-one kit. So we'll have 65, 75, and 86-inch single and dual screen kits available that will include an Eagle-Eye Director, as well as a G7500. All the cabling kits, speakers, everything like that is all included in one SKU. What's great about these new systems is that they come in 3 different heights. They can be, we can go higher. We can start at the lowest level, and then we can go higher, and then higher again, up to 12 inches of range based on the size of risers that we put at the very bottom of the system. And they are very sleek systems. They come in multiple colors. They can be, they come in applewood, a slate, kind of like a grayish, white, and a black. So we're giving a little bit more flexibility, a little more customization. The units will be available for both Group Series and for the G7500. In addition, we're looking to have these units available without codecs at all, possibly just with the Polycom Studio for a really kick-butt experience in like a huddle space, and used with the Poly Studio product. Just keep in mind, the 75-inch displays are the only ones that are touch capable. They're all 4K monitors, but the only one that'll be touch capable will be the new Dell 75-inch screens. We'll have pricing on these starting probably in the August timeframe. So if you're looking at maybe even at the end of July. So if you're looking at a longer term project, feel free to reach out to myself or Amanda, your channel rep there at VSGi, and she can start working to get you some pricing on these new all-in-one kits. But they are awesome. We had one in the booth, and you couldn't help but stare at it. It was so nice looking. And keep in mind, with the G7500, as well as all of other Polycom products, there's all sorts of service and support available for you, both through VSGi and through Polycom, from getting you ready to deploy 4K on your network all the way to having overnight repairs, overnight replacements shipped to you. So lots of great things happening on service and support standpoint. All right. So I just got done talking. So let's see if we have any questions out there in the queue.
Catherine, are you seeing anything?
No questions so far. I did have a question about, you said that it's Android based. Are
Correct.
there any plans in the roadmap to add iOS as well?
For the controller, I don't, honestly, I would highly doubt it, because the game plan from a controller standpoint is that we'll release the Android app APK file in August out to everybody. And by the way, if you want to get it earlier than that, just reach out and I can help you out. I can help you get that. I can get you an early copy of that as well. And then in the December timeframe, we'll have a low-cost controller that actually is a device that is poly branded that would go in the conference room. And once we come out with our own hard device, that I don't think we'll be putting more effort in developing an iOS. If we weren't coming out with our actual hard controllers, I would say, yeah, we would definitely come out with iOS, but I don't see us coming out with I really don't see us coming out with an iOS app.
So Mike has a question.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep. We hear you, Mike. We did hear you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so is this going to be sort of the big brother to the studio? Is that where it's going to sit in the lineup? Or how do you see that?
No, I mean, this would be like the great uncle to the studio. It's not, the studio is a USB pass-through device only. There's no codec built in to studio.
Sure.
So think of this as like the new group series, for lack of a better comparison that I've got right now. So I mean, this is a new all-in-one, a new system that is meant for group collaboration.
Okay.
And yeah, that's where we're at right now with this one.
That makes sense. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
Oh, sorry. And just to let you know, because I brought up group series, don't fear that group series is going away anytime soon. Group series can still do things that the G7500 can't. And I'm going to give you those I'm going to tell you right now what those are. G7500 does not integrate directly with Office 365 or Skype for Business. Real Connect for Teams or Real Connect for Microsoft is our only entry point into that world right now with the G7500. There is no internal multi-point on the G7500. So just for those 2 reasons or 3 reasons, for now, the group series is not going away at anytime soon. So if you have customers or you have users or you have POs in perhaps people are looking at the group series, it may be they want to purchase the group series. There's no reason for them to panic. There's still development happening on the group series. You're still, even after end of sale is announced, as you all know, we still support products after the last day of sale. We still support a product for 5 years past that date. And we are nowhere near, looking at the end of sale on group series.
Any other questions?
Multi-site, Bob, that's huge, right? Is that something Poly intends to have a license key somewhere in the future that we can buy to embed in the 7500?
Yeah, so the 7500 was developed and designed to be a modular system. So just the same way I'm going to be able to pair a microphone, a camera, whatever to the device, I'm going to be able to pair another box, another device to the G7500 mothership for the most part. So I envision us, and again, this is nowhere near saying this is what we're doing, but I've heard a lot of talk around what we're going to do is there'll be a modular type device that you would attach if you wanted to have that additional capability to the G7500 if you wanted to have multi-point. Today, what the G7500 is capable of doing is you're able to do an audio add-on. So I know that a lot of people, when Group Series first came out, we didn't have the ability to add on just a SIP audio participant unless you had the license, the multi-point license key. Well, don't fear about that. We can add on audio-only participant in audio-only participant, and I think it's only one participant. I haven't tried to do two over SIP, so that's possible. But yeah, long term, I think it's going to be like a modular approach that will add on multi-point, internal multi-point. That way, you just buy this other little box that would get you multi-point capabilities. Okay. Of course. Yep.
Can you go over the three points that the groups are able to do that the GS75 is not able to?
Sure. So the big ones are Microsoft. There's no integration with Microsoft Skype for Business or for Office 365. You can absolutely pair with your Outlook calendar. That's no problem at all. And the internal multi-point.
Mike has one more question.
All right.
Sorry, man, I forgot this last time. I don't know if I missed it, but was there a touch control along with this, or are we running it from a remote only?
So you have 3 ways. Well, right this second, you have 2 ways to control. You have the remote control as well as a touch screen. So if you're connected to a touch screen, you have that capability. In August, we have an APK that can run on an Android device, any Android device. That would be a free download. And again, if you want to test that out before, it's called just the Poly controller. If you want to test it out ahead of time, I can get you that APK file. You can play with it on the Android device. And again, it is Android only. In December timeframe, we're going to be coming out with a low-cost controller that is a hard unit that is actually Poly branded. It's a device that you buy, you put in the conference room that pairs with the G7500. So yeah, right now we do not have an actual device that we sell, and the RP Touch is not capable of or compatible with the G7500.
Okay, but you said the ceiling mics from the group are. So really, that's the only one right now that's not.
Right. The G75, the ceiling mics are compatible through that mic IP adapter. So you do need to purchase the IP adapter if you want to use the older ceiling mics.
Okay. Yep, makes sense. Thank you.
And for the VSGi folks, there's great information out on the Partner Connect that you can download. It goes into more detail on almost all this stuff that we talked about today.
Catherine, if there are no other questions.
That's it.
That's it. We would like to conclude for today. Bob, thank you very much for taking the time to present to us, our Poly reps, and our customers on the call today. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.